How are you?
Pretty good. I've
I just
been.
got home.
Oh, nice. I just, well, I've been. I didn't get to go to work last night, so I just woke up a little bit ago. Man, it's an honor to talk to you finally. I know pretty much, well, not everything about your band, but I listen to your band all the time. I mean, I reviewed your record. How did Giant Idiots originally form?
Original form.
Yeah.
Uh, we were just high school, not schoolmates when uh, Edmond Private Stock transferred to our school in Nabotas. Then we don't know about punk during those days. I think that was 1984.
84?
No. I think that's yeah, early or 83 or late 83 when he transferred to our school. I was in second year and they were in third year high school. And then they got we he got us introduced to the music of Private Stock when Private Stock played in our
Wow.
foundation day in our school.
So, Private Stock was the band
Changed
to
a lot.
influence you?
Yeah, that changed a lot for me.
Oh, yeah, I love Private
Yeah,
Stock.
yeah, yes. And then we got the bonding together with Benji, and because we sadly became same with our music and our enthusiasm to this kind of rebellious punk and music, and we just formed. We didn't plan anything during those times. Our mentality is you got to do something,
Yeah, obviously.
anything, just to because nobody know about funk music
Yeah.
during those things in Philippines. So that's what we do.
I mean, that's just a
Either you
big.
express yourself to the way you dress, or the way you dress, or some play a band, or we're neophytes. We don't know anything. We're just 14, 15 years old back then, and we didn't play really. We didn't know anything about music, but eventually,
Hey, it's how the Ramones and
uh,
everyone else started.
yeah.
It's gotta happen somehow.
And because dead ends, they were kind enough to let us play during the rehearsals when they have a rehearsal studio in Nabotas.
Oh,
And religiously, I went there every Sunday during their rehearsals. Then when they're rehearsing, eventually they will rest, and during those rest period, we will jump on the instruments and play anything that we can, and
you,
that is how started GI. Yeah, we didn't plan anything. Yeah, I didn't know that we're gonna end up something actually during those days. We just gotta do. We
yeah,
just
and
gotta the good thing is that they're kind enough to let us play with their instruments.
but another question I had. So you've been in the Brave New World scene since like the beginning of it, right?
In the later part, I think, because Breakaway, I think it started in 1981, and I
81.
think
Damn.
I got there in later part. I think it's Breakaway 6 or 7, and then the last Breakaway is 8 and 9, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's Breakaway 8 and 9, the one they recorded.
I don't know what they're at this
Yes.
point.
I
I'm
know.
still trying to
I
track down
went
the
to
TRC
about
too.
four, 4 or 5 Brave New World concerts, and I was a rodeo private stock. I was very young back
Damn.
then, and my mother usually didn't want me to go. He will not. She will not allow me to go out during especially late hours in the night. But
Did she know what it was?
I sneak out. I sneak out because I
That's
cannot
punk.
let that thing pass, because and good thing I was a friend of private stock, and they let me I was I don't know, because I was very young. I think I was 14, and during those times, punk rock concerts are kind of violent, and what's a
You know,
14-year-old boy is doing that? Doing that?
you just spawned a question that I can't believe I haven't asked anyone there yet. Okay, since what was your mother's reaction when you got into punk rock? I mean, obviously she had to have noticed something. Like,
Yeah.
what was your parents' reaction to it? I've never thought about asking a Philippine punk
What
rocker
was
that.
what was happening to me? What's my problem? All that. Who's my friends? And she will ask who is my friend, or who are my friend was. And she wants to know everything. But eventually, well, I introduced some of them, and eventually she
Wow.
knows that they're good guys anyway. When we are in front of when we are in front of him, we are good guys.
Get you there.
I remember one instance that the Brave New World recording. It has a BSH tape live recording, and Anoy Aceman
Yeah.
borrow it from Tomas, and they didn't have any player to play that VHS. I think it's Betamax tape.
Yeah, Max Boy
So
had told me
I
that one.
volunteered. I volunteered. We have a Betamax player in our house, and I said, let's go to our house and watch that tape. And I think 20 or more punk rock, no, with their boots and studs and everything went to our house, and my mother got shocked, and my grandmother was really shocked. And I thought, she thought I was with hoodlum guys. She didn't have any clue what they were. Especially my grandmother. My grandmother is really, she was old school, and she was kind of religious. She came from a religious family, and when I came home with a bunch of punk rockers, especially Anoy, he had this jacket with concrete nails at the back sticking out
Oh, God.
during those times. Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that
And
picture
they
on
were
the.
a little drunk, especially those Slavs tribe with Anoy. They always have, when Anoy was out. I think he has I think 7 or 8 friends with him always. And they were drinking gin. They were drinking gin in our house,
This is
and
awesome.
I was because I don't want to Anoy. She was another icon, one of my idols. So as much as possible, I want to please him.
I understand that.
So I didn't mind. I didn't mind what my mom and my grandmother will think about me
Ta
after that.
Pretty much taking the burn for the real goal, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Have you seen that resurfaced photo of Rescue Ladders 1 where instead of the album cover, it's just all the, like, everyone, Tommy Tanchenko, Arnold Morales, have you seen that picture surface?
What teacher?
There's a picture on the, someone from Brave New
Label?
World shared it, but you know the cover of Rescue Ladder and Human Barricades? The
Yeah,
cover?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Someone
That was in
resurfaced,
Menjola.
yeah, someone posted a picture of that without the filter on it. It's a picture of all the punks standing there and Tommy pointing in the background. Technology eats the world, so I'm gonna ask about that first and then Fascinating World of Garbage, because, as you know, technology is my favorite album.
Thanks. Thank you.
I'm the different person.
Yeah, different person.
So, like, how did that album come to be? And Fascinating World of Garbage has a more hardcore punk noisy sound, and this one's got definitely more of an experimental sound to it. Like, what were your influences on that?
Actually, technology is the world. Came immediately after, fascinating world. We're making songs regularly because we're practicing regularly during that time, almost every week, non-stop. So, fascinating world of technology is the world, and we have maybe about 6 or 7 songs ready for another recording. But Tommy, suddenly they stopped. We didn't have anything to do, or are we gonna release, or are we gonna record another album? We don't know. We don't have any idea, and we don't have money. And those materials, some of those materials really are written after fascinating. So after that, uh, during 90s, it's a little bit easier to make a recording, especially with Benji and George. They're kind of hook up with the no, because they are recording technicians or recording engineers in their field. So that's for the only time that we are able to record. Uh, sadly, some of the tracks Wesley was not able to play because he was busy with Putresca during that time.
Oh
They were
yeah.
ano, they were really hot band, in early 90s. So we had a new drummer, and we are because Luis can do cannot fulfill his drumming
Yeah.
duties with us. So during that time na, and we think that that was really 90s is a really boom year for us. But we are kind of lie low in the 90s. We just play every now and then, and not like film violators during that time, and they are constantly releasing albums. And we kind of think that why don't we release our previous material, so at least some people will not never forget will remember us. So that was happened.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll never be forgotten. Just saying. The first time your band's heard it, that can't be forgotten. You write anthems, but the other part of that question I was gonna ask is, what were your influences for the sound and technology? I mean, I know it's hardcore punk, but it does have a more experimental vibe to it. Like, what were you listening to around that time?
During that time, 90s. Yeah, Edmond was Edmond was in New York during those times. So he was the one who was I think during those times I was listening to Alice Donut, Alice Donut,
Yes.
Alice Donut and Cryptic Slaughter and Accuse. That was my
Did you ever
tapes then.
did
And yeah, Accuse, Alice Donut, Cryptic Slaughter,
Did you ever
and
listen to Sonic Youth?
yeah, some of the Sonic Youth
Hell
albums.
yes.
And also he gave me a tape of I think that was the beginning of some garage, Quicksand.
I've heard of them, yeah.
He gave me Quicksand, yeah.
Damn.
I was listening to that bands before during those times.
Well, I'm glad you did
And
that.
most of the materials in Fascinating, Benji wrote that. It was kind of because during the time we started a family, so we just but not technology. It was it's made by us. I told you it was uh, written almost with the Fascinating, but it didn't come out with the Fascinating. And also Pare-Pareho and those songs. Some of the songs Benji wrote and you know arreglo, arreglo in English, but all by himself.
Damn.
Yeah.
Who drew the cover for that album? Since it's a cartoon cover.
Yeah, that I can't remember. The lettering GI, it was sent to us by a mail by some fan who was writing with us, and he make some like that guy GI. He made some he drew that, and he
That's
and
awesome.
yeah, and we use that with his permission actually. During those
Yeah.
time,
Damn.
some of some punks from Yugoslavia are writing to me. But I was
That's
really busy during those. I was starting family, so sometimes I never get really get back to them. And the cartoons, I think it was Benji's. He saw it some magazine. I think in Reader's Digest or something. No, that wasn't Mad. The cartoons. It was It was usually you can see those caricature pages on Mad Magazine. Yeah, yeah.
That's a really good story
As
for how
as
that came to be,
well.
though. Going to fascinating world of garbage now. I've had a big question about the on the vinyl record. It just shows the head, the person's head on there, with his ears to his
Yes.
head. On the back of it, it shows a picture of of your band in front of a brick wall. Where was that taken at?
Actually, during that time, I think that was some garbage dump in Makati.
Oh,
Uh, I didn't even know what we're gonna do. I was there. I was drunk,
I
and
thought it was great.
actually, I didn't remember where we take. I got just glimpse of my memory doing
I
that
get,
because I was
I get
I
you.
was I was high, and I was going really after that just blank, and suddenly I regained my my it was already night. I was that time I was kind of everybody's doing it anyway.
Pretty
We're
much.
taking cup syrup every day. Cup syrup was the evening that day, and we were drinking after that. Uh, usually after lunch we're gonna see each other the friends, and we gonna do some cup syrup.
Yeah.
Cup syrup.
Yeah, I know
But
cough syrup.
perpetuate something like that. That is the only thing available. Those are wild times.
When I ask this, I don't personally mean you, but how hard would it have been for someone to have bought marijuana from the Philippines back then?
During those times, I think it's kind of it's more lucks pre 1970. So most of the people, not like this Duterte administration, they're always demonizing everything. And
Yeah, Alde Malanta told me that the Duterte administration is actually stricter on drugs than Marcos' administration was. He told me that Marcos was like, yeah, fuckers, I'm stealing from you, do what you want. Like, he told me you could walk down the street and there'd be people smoking pot. I was like, holy shit, Marcos allowed that? He's like, well, he didn't necessarily allow it, but he
no,
didn't strike down on it, though.
not I mean, when the police see you, you will in deep shit. But during those times, it's a lot marijuana back then, because it's common back then. Not like now because some of the drugs now. I really think it's really bad. Like the crystal meth that's propagating, and it's lots of synthetic drugs that they're doing. The Chinese are doing. That's really gonna fuck you
Yeah.
up, your brain,
Yeah,
and
these
everything.
companies keep
But,
making
marijuana
these
it's
shitty
more no, it's
versions.
more organic, and I think it's in our culture anyway. I think even Jose Rizal mentioned it in his novel that Kapitan Ghost smoking something like pot. No, it's pot, but I think it's pot. He was mentioning.
Are you pro or anti marijuana legalization for medicinal and recreational purposes?
I'm more definitely I'm pro.
For medicinal and recreational, or what's your terms on that?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're best friends now.
I've been doing it for so many years now. Then there's not bad thing that's gonna happen to you when you smoke.
But yeah, I'm really glad you're pro weed legalization. And the reason I asked that is because on your third In the Making album, there's a song on it called Takang. Tokang.
Yeah, tokhang.
And
Oh,
that's kind of the reason I kind of drove into to that question because I wanted to talk to you about the PNP raids that you guys mentioned in your songs. I asked somebody what Tokong
yeah,
meant, and they told me it's a
tokhang.
PNP. It's a PNP term for raid the drug house or
Yeah, yeah,
something. Can you talk about
yeah.
that a little
They
bit?
will knock in your Actually, tokhang. It was double meaning. The police said tokhang when they know some known drug addict in the area in the barangay. The police will every day they will knock on your door, and they will ask you to surrender without even knowing, without even ano clear evidence that you have possession or but when somebody in the neighborhood point you out that
Oh,
you're using this or using that, the police will come to you and knock on your door and look after you because during that early, actually still doing it now. And the second tokhang, when somebody got killed, uh, they will call natokhang ka. When somebody, when you see a dead body on the street, especially during the early years of I think it was 87, 2017, 18. They will call it na tokhang. So parang tokhang equals death because of drugs.
And
Yeah.
you're obviously completely against this ruthless drug war,
And
right?
they will conduct tokhang operation in the slums, and they will round out
Well,
everybody. And I think what they're the real thing is the police precincts, in every precincts in all around the Philippines, they are required to submit bodies to the superiors,
yeah.
or else they will gonna get displaced, especially the commanders. If you didn't kill in your area, maybe in your area you are supposed to kill 10 people. It was known, but not very spoken. But I know somebody, in the police. They have standing orders to do that. The commander told you in your area you're supposed to kill 10. So that parang it's like sending a
Supposed to
message
kill
to
10?
everybody. Yeah, everybody. I don't, not exactly but I think every precinct, every especially in Metro Manila, not one precinct or police precinct, police station didn't produce dead bodies uh, during the early days of what they call
Oh, okay. I thought
illegal
you
drug.
meant that they make a habit of saying "get 10 tonight" instead of "you can kill up to." Like, I'm. I really hope you don't mean they have a specific number they're supposed to kill.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Then, not only that, I think the more you kill, the higher recommendations you will get
What
from
the
your
fuck? Are you
superior.
serious? That's re-
I'm serious. I'm
Oh my. Oh
serious.
yeah, obviously you're serious, but whoa, that's evil.
That is the fastest way of this Duterte regime.
So
And
his drug war isn't even a drug war. It's more of a kill the poor, to reference
yeah,
Dead Kennedys.
they were not doing Bakhang on the posh villages in Makati. Are they doing it? No.
God
The
damn.
the son of a known Duterte ally general gets caught in a known drug raid. The police raided the place. It's a known drug lair. They found the son of that general,
Oh my god.
and then they released him. And
What?
they said that she was just there. She didn't know anything. He was just no, visiting some girl, and he was sleeping there. And during those times, billions of drugs came directly
Wow.
on the Bureau of Customs.
Yeah, kill the poor by Dead Kennedys. That sounds like what's going on over there.
That's not the proper way to do it. I mean, it's not. Some of the modern countries, the first world countries are legalizing pot,
Yeah,
and
it's legal
now
here because
in
I
the
don't.
Philippines, uh, they will kill you if you're smoking joint. What the fuck is that? A lot of people, when people are waking up to the real that that pot is not that bad, and it's not that harmful in people, and suddenly in the Philippines when you get caught, you gotta get killed.
That's what
Uh,
just
that's
scares the
no. I
shit of
mean,
me. I was offered it
yeah.
last year, but I'm like, I'm good. Like if this was the U.S., you could let's fucking smoke a bowl. But no, like Fiesta in August. Well, a couple other teens pulled me aside as I was filming. It's like, hey, Joe, man, Joe. So like, you smoke
Mm.
weed? You smoke weed? I'm like, depending on who the fuck you are. He's like, well, Joe, so like, you want to smoke some weed with me? I'm like, you know we're in the Philippines, right? He's like, yeah, he's okay. Duterte don't care. He's my dad's friend. He don't care. I'm like, your dad's friend is Duterte. Um, sorry, I'm not gonna risk my life. And I just kind of took off because I had only heard that marijuana gets you some free lead surgery in the head from the PNP.
I'm not afraid of that guy.
That this
It's
right,
okay. I think I was nobody, and they will not get along with me anyway.
I
Um,
really wish there were more voices in the Philippines that would speak out against it because when I was there, I actually met people in person there who was like, so, what do you think of Duterte's drug war? Like, oh yes, kill out these drug users. They're making
you
the
know,
country bad. I'm like, oh, I don't understand how there are people that think it's a good fucking idea. Can you give? I know you've already told me like a couple times the unfortunate stall that's going on with your band, but has the drummer left, right? Like,
yes.
what's the future in the present of GI looking like? Like, what's your plans?
In our group chat, uh, almost weekly, when you will ask us, we're gonna go practice again. And some of the guys, they're in all of them were in Bulacan, and I was here in Manila. So I have to travel in Bulacan. I think that was 40 kilometers. So it's okay. I go there and get practice. But we're we're rehearsing with this new drummer. He was a drummer of
Yay!
Beauty of Loud. It's Jepoy, but it's like you're starting scratch because she didn't know a lot of the songs of GI, and you have to teach.
Yeah.
It's like we're starting again, and Joy Boy, he also have a lot of band. I think he was beating the skins for I think 5 bands,
Oh wow.
and he was kind of young than us, so he has different what do you call that influences. And most of the songs that we do, or maybe the songs that um, what do you call that? Cipra, Cipra. Like we played the Kenny's every now and then
Oh
songs
yeah.
and verbal abuse songs. You don't know that either. So usually, actually, you have to teach him everything. And we also have one drummer, and he was kind of almost the same age as us, and he knows every song of GI. And we're talking to him right now if he can spare time. Everybody is working. Usually, we all have Sundays to get rehearsed, and usually some of us when Sundays it has to be family day or you have to do some errands on Sundays, and it's really harder now. But yeah, Benji he was always asking us if we can play, rehearse. Maybe this Sunday again gonna rehearse after so many months. And I think it's gonna be another. It's gonna get harder. Not before when
Well,
Polo's
when I get there,
playing.
if you want a drummer, I can do it. Just saying. If it's what it takes to see
But
another
the
GI
problem is
album,
you were in Cavite and we were rehearsing in Bulacan. And maybe it's gonna take you one day just to travel with the traffic here.
I'll fucking do it. If it's to keep George Episode and Idiots going, hell yes. I will drum my ass
Yeah.
off.
Let's try that.
I am
Yeah,
pretty good
maybe.
at speed drumming.
All right, we gotta get back.
It's looking like either sometime in November. I don't
Oh,
fucking know the
that's good.
date yet. I want it to be November because Urban Bandits and Putroy Ska November 29th. And I already fucked
Got
up and I missed the first Grand Reunion show, which made me cry little boy tears. I am not missing this show in November. I refuse to miss it. And Urban Bandits too.
I gotta be there too. Actually, they told me the Exploited is gonna play here
The
on January.
The Exploited?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
because
talk
they're
to
gonna have
Buddy.
a Asian tour, and I think they're already booked. A friend of mine told me that They already booked a date on January, and he asking me if they want GI to play with that the gig, and I said, "Wow, exploited, man."
You're gonna play the Exploited?
And
Holy shit!
yeah, yeah, I was hoping also, just to play with a legendary band like Exploited is a dream come true
Oh,
for
I'm
GI.
gonna fucking be there. Hell yes,
Yeah.
I am. And can
They
I?
didn't have a venue yet, and they're just planning the whole thing. And they said they're gonna announce the gig when everything settled.
Um,
But they said they already make a down payment with the band, and the date was set. I think it's January.
can
That's
I?
about it.
Since I'll be there, can I record your band and make a little live album on my record label of this? Maybe not Exploited because I don't know their label, but you guys. I don't wanna get sued by
Yeah,
Exploited's label. I'd like to
yeah,
make a
yeah,
live
yeah.
album
Why
of you.
not? Why not?
Just think about it. GI and the Exploited live split. That sounds epic.
I
Are you,
think
are you
I
wearing
think
a,
because of Splay, we're gonna sell some copies now.
you fucking platinum? Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
are you wearing that agnostic front shirt?
Yeah, yes.
Hell yeah.
Give it to me.
Are you more East Coast US punk or West Coast? Are you Black Flag or are you the FUs or agnostic front?
I'm more of old school, so I gotta root for Black Flag, Circle Jerks.
He's West
I'm more of a
Coast.
Circle Jerks fan. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, yes.
East Coast and West Coast have totally different sound inceptions. What's your favorite agnostic front album?
Of course, for Arm, of course.
Yes, Cause for Alarm is best.
Yeah.
Have they ever played in the Philippines before? I feel like agnostic
No.
front. Really? Agnostic front.
Yeah.
You are required to play in the
They
Philippines
played, I
now.
think, in played in Malaysia, Indonesia, but I'm not really sure. But they always skip the Philippines. Nobody's
That
Uh,
sucks. You know
he's
TSO,
still
right?
alive.
Yeah, they just
He's
released a
alive.
new album.
Oh,
Jack Grisham.
with the original lineup,
Yeah,
original members.
Jack
Wow,
Grisham's in it, and a couple others are. Yeah, TSOL. That's my favorite punk rock
wow.
band of all time, right there. Everything from Dance with Me to the Trigger Complex that released in 2017, and they just released another EP. Yeah, they've got
Oh,
the Dance with Me 81, Beneath the Shadows 83, and then Hit and Run, Strange Love, and Revenge don't matter because that's a sellout TSOL. They came back in the 90s and they
wow.
put out Disappear in 2001, Divided We Stand in 2003, Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of Free Downloads in 2009, in which I have the picture disc, and then another 12 years later, Trigger Complex. So yeah, they've been actively. I know a lot about TSOL.
PSL was also a very good, huge influence on GI because during those times, we listened to the same music because when we were together, we were playing this music. We listened to Wasted Youth, and usually
Yeah, he told me he
I
did some
have that
covers of them.
a bootleg cassette that on the other side is Wasted Youth and B side is Stay So Well, so we're playing it. And we kind of, we play some of the Wasted Youth songs during those early GI when we were still, rehearsing and not making, the early years. We were playing Problem Child.
Problem Child,
You know,
it's up.
so,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
love Wasted Youth. Yeah, you
I know,
mentioned.
Wasted Youth, they transformed to be some kind of heavy metal band.
I have that Black Days. I have that on vinyl. I want to talk to you about your potentially most over the top song you've ever written, The Flag. Ben, she told me that defaming the flag is a serious crime over there. Like, how did you guys write
Yeah,
The Flag? And what was the reaction to it when you played it live back then and today, if you play it today?
during those times, as a kid, I know there's some repercussion doing that, but, you know, as a punk, parang ano na lang, jam, whatever happens, it's just, I don't know,
You said you were 14 when you wrote that album.
I was, no, I was 14 when we started.
Fuck.
14, and Benji was 15, and 1986 when we recorded, I was 15.
So you're telling me you wrote all those songs at the age of 15? Damn.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, considering I've listened to that
Yeah,
album in
no,
depth, you had a lot of
No,
pain
George,
going
George is
on.
already. I think George during those times he was 20. Yeah, he was 66. 66. No, no. If I was 15, he was just 18 or 19 during those times. George, looks, no, 3 years, 4 years ahead with me. But he still, he was still a teenager, no? 19. Most of the time, George was writing the lyrics. Because
Okay. I'm just saying
during
because I was gonna say, what was the reaction of the crowd when you play the flag back then and today?
the people,
Yeah, like how did people react to that song?
punk of our audience,
I'm saying because you live in
I don't know
a
if they really, during those times we were playing when we didn't have a album, if they understand the lyrics, but maybe because they understand the slow part, the Philippine flag is there to
uh,
ride.
yeah,
It was a protest song. I have a trivia to do. The Philippine flag is a dirty old flag,
49 is a
and
fairy.
Ferdinand Safari,
He eats
it's
little
there goes.
bull. That's little.
It was taken from a magazine.
It came from a magazine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It was originally the Iranian flag is a dirty old rag, and Ayatollah Safari.
I
Yeah,
love
yeah, yeah.
this.
It was a cartoons. You know what magazine it was? Hustler magazine. We're reading a Hustler magazine because we were young, and we will see some pussies out. And we saw that it was a cartoon in a CR. Hustler magazine. They have
Yeah, I
satire
remember.
cartoons there, a lot of satire cartoons.
Yeah, I know what you're
And
talking about.
it was the Iranian flag is a dirty old flag, and Ayatollah Safari. Each little girl sucks little boys, and his wife still got his cherry. And somehow George copied it, and just the Philippine flags there, or Ferdinand Safari. That
That's
was
the
the trivia.
greatest shit I've heard all day.
This was Ayatollah. Ayatollah Khomeini. That was the 80s, It was Ayatollah.
Considering how politically charged and how much of a punch in the face that song is, now to see what it was inspired by. That's a
In
fucking
Hustler magazine.
that's a fucking jump right there. Jesus Christ. Oh, yeah, your introduction. Psychologist Sigmund Freud. Can you explain that there? That introduction.
It was George's idea because it's when there were I think their lesson was psychology. It was Sigmund Freud, and you know what the classification are: the idiots and imbeciles and morons, and you know all that kind of levels. And yun, I was not aware that we never talk about it. But during this recording, he just told the one studio technician that can you say this in and that's all, he has an idea about the album. And I don't know, I can't remember if we even talk about it. Or maybe I was too drunk every time, so I forgot if he's telling me about it. Uh, but I remember because when recording, I was not sober. I was sober actually.
I'm not sober.
I was thinking, what are you doing? What's that? Uh, you gotta put it in the intro of the album, something like that.
That's
Oh, that's
awesome.
great. That's great.
I love that intro though. Your hit song, and I'll call it your hit song because it's a song I see everyone reference. "Damn You People." Deceased also did a cover of it. Like, how did you come up with "Damn You People"? And is
Yeah,
there?
I told you. Damn You People was your original private stock song.
Oh yeah. You told me that in the beginning of this.
It
Sorry,
was written by Edmond. And no, private stock. It was a
yeah.
punkabilly band during those times. It was too punk for them. to play that so
Yeah, that does
it
sound a
was
little bit
included,
angry.
yeah. So
For a,
and during the early days, Edmond was a part of GI. The first generation GI, Edmond was there. Luis was not. George, Edmond, Benji, uh, Jojo, Maraeg, and me. We're five. So Edmond, she decided that GI will have that song, but he wrote it everything. The arreglo. What do you call that arreglo? That song was already made, and we are playing it even before GI, and we were playing it when we were drinking rum in the in the fish ponds of Malabon back then. After school, we go, let's drink, have this rum, okay, and we play. Edmond, he always had this guitar, and we play Future Generation, and I was a kid, and I was actually his fan, and I want to be with him always. Parang, he was cast a rock star to me during those times. And, oh, Edmond, I want to be with you always. And we're playing, and yeah, it's a privilege to have one of his songs to be. It's what the record. No, the lyrics are. I think Edmond wrote that song when he was in sixth grade.
Jesus.
Also, Future Generation. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
You guys are a bunch of
You
geniuses.
go ask Mel if he knows that.
I think actually Mel
I
mentioned to
think.
me that in his interview with me. I just kind of forgot about it. I've got a terrible memory, but yeah, that. I
Mm,
remember him talking about that. Two more questions before we get off here. Then the last question's gonna be a pretty big one. Not big worded, but a bold question.
uh,
D- fuck. Bury yourself and 9 years of service. Is 9 years of
yes.
service a reference to something?
Yes. 9 years of service was it was written by George because he did 9 years of service in the Bottas Church. He
Oh,
was the president of the what do you call that? Knights. He was the guy who assisted the priest during mass. What do
bishop,
you call that?
bishop.
No, the kids that assisted the priest during mass. I
You're
forgot
talking to
what they
someone
call
who's
that.
never. I didn't grow up in the church. I wouldn't know. You're
No,
asking me a blind question there, buddy.
he was the president actually, or the head of the altar boys, something like altar boys in the
Oh,
in
I.
the Nabotas Church in San Jose. He was the head of the altar boys, and when he suddenly ano, became punk, and they fired
Okay.
him because now he was his hair was different. It's kind of so they fired him without
Jesus.
really without uh concrete basis on what is the reason. Because of the hair, or maybe you start eh, uh, George during those times. He was not always wearing black or wearing offensive things. He was just still I don't know, some simple guy. He was wearing polo and white shirt. Yeah, usually, the faded jeans and sneakers. That's how he dressed. Not like us. We were more, we were studs, and uh, her was just, it's like a misfits during those times. He grew his bangs, a little longer. And they fired him. That's why, after 9 years of service, they fired him without any reason. He was very angry because, he was an altar boy. He was an altar boy for 9 years in that, parish in Nabotas.
I thought the song
That
was
was
about
the
martial
that
law
was
at
the
first.
behind it. That was the story behind it. I have the values. This not you. When you don't belong here anymore, you can ask for more. I can control you. You can't control me. I full authority. Yeah, that's why he wrote that song.
This is the final question here, since I know your phone's beeping at you.
Mm.
Rescue Ladder and Human Barricade the Fourth Order. Your song, PINOY Pinoy Punk is on there. Is that gonna be a song on your next coming album? And also, do you know what I'm talking about? Rescue Letters and Human Barricade, the Fourth Order.
Yes.
Can you tell
Yeah.
me what you know about that CD? Like what your opinion of it is?
Yeah. About the CD or they use the Human Baggage series
Yeah,
or the TRC.
yeah, TRC 18.
During those times, I think it was Tommy guested in the Punk Connection,
Yeah,
and they're asking him if he's gonna you know what do you call that
make a new one or something.
revive the TRC label, revive.
Oh wow,
The- And he said, why not? Oh. And I think they asked if they want if they what if they do if Tommy can do
Rescue Letter.
another rescue ladders to jump up the TRC label again or to revive it. And I think Tommy said why not, and then started it, and they had talks to and then they told me that during those time they're gonna have a physical copy, and it's okay. They told us that if you can submit songs, one or two songs for the album, why not? It's okay. You're not, I don't know. And maybe you're asking me if some of the people rejecting it that it's not a TRC or whatever. In my, this is my take on it. I think it's not a big deal if they use the TRC, if they only give them the permission. I haven't spoke with Tommy, but I heard no, I listened to that episode. So I was thinking in my mind I think he gave permission to do that album Rescular. I don't know if he retracted it or did they have other uh, conditioning if they're gonna use a Rescular. I'm not aware of that. But my take is, I think it will be better if they just did their own uh, label on it and not use the. I think Tommy, if he's not he didn't have anything to do with that album and they just leave it. This is my take. I think TRC is not really so Tommy is a big part of TRC. He finances it. He did tremendous things. But I think TRC belongs to really to everybody during those times uh, who did everything. I was telling you to some all of the punks who go to the shows, to the bands, to give their life, not really life, their time and their resources during those times. We didn't have any we're not being compensated during those times. We're just doing this because we love it, and luckily there's Tommy, and I think the Philippines during those we are able to establish our scene here with those albums and the label TRC. So my take is Tommy is not really uh, in the are you gonna use this because I think he thinks also that TRC belongs to the punk during those times. So but I think it will be better if we'll just leave it in the 80s then.
I
And you
understand
can,
what you mean.
you can, you can create your own music label now. You can release every a dozen or more compilation if you want to. It's more easier here now than before, but that's my take on it. I don't know. Uh, I think it will be better if so they will not. Some of the the factions that why are you using TRC? They are not TRC. the war will subside, or the will know, you know, banging or whatever during for I'm not the kind of guy who always go to the details, uh, the people will, if it's TRC or not. Uh, what's TRC? The TRC is the 80s. And is this 2018 copy? Is that 2019 now? I didn't have any. I still didn't have any copy. And they said that they're gonna release physical copy. I didn't have any until now.
Well, I will say, because
Yes.
I've been talking to, during the end of my interviews recently, like with Alde Malanta, with Mel, with many others, I've asked the same question because I've never seen an album shrouded in so much controversy. Well, no, what I've been told about TRC 18 is that Tommy wanted to do another one, and then, but he didn't have the people to do it, because, he didn't have the TRC legwork. Like 12 Stone Records, he has people there, right? But since TRC's been dead for 3 decades, he didn't have anyone to do the legwork, and so Runmin of the Punk Connection jumped on and said, "Hey, I'll do it." And Tommy's like, "Okay." The reason why some of the negative feed there is because apparently when they were putting this album together, some bands requested to be on it, and they just didn't make the cut for some reason or another. That's what we're gonna go with this on this point. And I've been told that a lot of the bands that did not make the TRC cut bitched Tommy out, and Tommy's like, "Okay, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore." I've heard that from a lot of people,
Ah,
that pretty much some bands didn't make the Twisted Red Cross cut, and then they bitched Tommy out, and then Tommy just kind of ran away from it because he didn't want to deal with it. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there, but I've had multiple people tell me this.
why is Tommy's kids bands doing
Yeah,
there?
that too. That's another reason why. Because Absolute Play, which I love them by the way, they're on this. So yeah, I think it was officially by TRC, because I mean, Tommy could technically sue the fuck out of whoever made this if it wasn't. I mean, there is copyright laws over there, but I just wanted to get your opinion on it because I've been asking everyone this, especially because you're on this. But just as a closing out statement here, so is there anything you want to say to people about your music or about what's going on? I know I asked you earlier your future plans, but
Just be yourself and not to be dictated by the people, the norms of the society.
hell yeah.
It's truest punk in its essence. Mabuhay po kayo lahat. Salamat. Thank you, Anarka, for everything that you're doing.
Of course.
I really appreciate what your enthusiasm. Maybe my girlfriend was calling me and he was thinking I was talking to somebody else.